Classification of file is the process of arranging and organizing records and documents in a systematic order. The purpose of classification is to enable the staff to find documents in the cabinets that are already classified based on its content and necessity. The next is filing system. Filing system is the process that involves classification, arrangement, storage, control, and indexing of files to enable the retrieving of the files when they are needed. The first objective is to classify and arrange records properly. Filing system enables records to be arranged systematically by classifying them based on their content and necessity. The proper handling of records can prevent many unfavorable incidents such as the loss of files, the damage of records, and more. For organizations that have several departments, it is necessary to classify the records so that they will not get mixed up, which led to inefficient administration. The second one is to protect records against possible loss or damage. The proper arrangement of documents can keep them secured. This is because the documents are placed nicely and it is easy for them to retrieve. If the documents are arranged in order, it will facilitate the staff to find it and put it back to its original place. Documents and also will not deteriorate because the space is just enough for them to fit in. It is also prevent the documents from get folded, which is then lead to damage to the documents. And the third one is to provide a method of obtaining information without a loss of time. It is undeniable that organized documents enable the staff to find them easily. Next is the impact of the improper classification and filing system to the organizations. So the first one is consume too much time sorting through messy cabinets. The second one is uses too much space in the office. And the third one is misplaced of files. The last one is employees' stress level increase. So the last one is the current issue of classification system. So the first one is searchability. It can be difficult to look for documents in the file cabinets. In the hope of locating the exact document needed, the staff have to go through the storage room and look through filing cabinets, files, and boxes. Often prior to discovering what is needed, the staff need to go through hundreds of other documents. The file is lost at other times, presumably never to be found again. The second one is lack of productivity. Paper-based filing raises the workloads of workers and leads to decreased productivity. Not only do they have to print and file the documents in the storage, ensuring that the correct filing protocols are used, but their time is often wasted by searching through and finding the documents. The third one is the need for storage space. They may already have filing cabinets after filing cabinets in the office if the organizations have operating for a long time. They probably have many storage rooms than before. The more time goes by, the more space they will need for the documents. This room could be used as office space more efficiently. Other than that, lack of security. Getting all important papers stored in a storage room can be dangerous. When it comes to information security and privacy, paper-based documents are at greater risk of misuse than electronic records. It's impossible to build a paper trail of paper records to track who has access information, when and why. People that have no authorization can access the documents. The last one is prone to damage. At any moment, natural disaster can happen. The storage room can be destroyed by a fire, and the whole set of paper-based records could be totally wiped out by flood, hurricane, or another extreme disaster. Any documents may also be lost simply because of wear and tear.
Administrative history. In March 1982, the school was inaugurated by YBIONI Abdurrahman Haji Arshad as a Deputy Director at Education to Malaysia compilation. Then, in 1985, the school was upgraded to Grade B National High School and subsequently, in 1991, was promoted to Grade A. The name SMK Elopura actually comes from the Sanskrit language, Elopura, which means beautiful city. Initially, the school had only a few students in 1976. Then in 1982, the number of students reached 766, and now SMK Elopura have more than 1,000 of students. Besides that, SMK Elopura Sandakan have more than 100 staff. Then the mission is SMK Elopura is determined to achieve glory through efficient and systematic administrative management, professional and knowledgeable staff, being a balanced and harmonious students, physical and safe and conducive development, and integrated and continuous community involvement. Organizational chart. This organizational chart shows the management structure of a public school district. A gradient background was used. An organizational chart or ORG chart is a diagram that shows the hierarchical structure of an organization. Usually, a chart starts with a higher and superior levels and branches downward to subordinate levels. An organizational chart of an organization usually shows the managers and sub-workers who make up an organization. It also shows the relationship between the organization's staff members. Such charts are helpful to show a new employee where he fits in the organization. SMK Elopura Sandakan contain two versions of administration management as the school are having from 1 till 5 and from 6 students. The school have many students as there is 2 sessions on school attending. The principal who responsible for the school is Mr. Noor Alam Mano bin Abdullah. He is assisted by all his senior assistants to manage and handle the school. Function and activity. When using a functional classification and description system, use function term as tied to a specific object of the function activity. The function activity may be combined with a noun to form a relationship, such as administrating finance, fostering partnerships, running meetings, inviting guests. The relationship between the function and the object of the activity is a relationship made by the records manager or archivist in the retention schedule or product of archival description, finding aid, catalog, listing. The records manager and archivist are left with the task of identifying the mission of corporate bodies and combining the record series or record group with the appropriate function activities and transactions. The use of functional terms between descriptive records and authority records differ in purpose. In descriptive records, function and activity terms should reflect the processes that generated the records. In authority records, these terms are used to describe the function and activities undertaken by the entity.
Present our group. Part E, identify any manual, standard or procedure or classification and filing system developed by the public organization or agency. So here we are giving the school manual, standard or procedure, classification and filing system. So a manual provides the guidance needed to maintain a filing system. This guidance is helpful in every file station, but essential in a large stations. A record keeper soon memorize most of the subject categories and knows exactly where to look for documents that are repeatedly requested. Many papers too are not often requested, and the manual will be consult. Subject filing 1981 is a handbook. So here we go. The classification of school files is provided through the cooperation between the Ministry of Education (MOE) Malaysia, as the Ministry of Education Malaysia, and the National Archive of Education will be used as the main source of reference in updating existing file management, setting the file classification code for each school as a whole. The school file classification manual is provided with the aim of assisting officers and staff to ensure records management is carried out efficiently and orderly, subsequently facilitate achievement and sharing of information. A good file system management will enable immediate detection and protection of files. Subsequently, and information can be obtained quickly and action can be taken immediately. This will enhance administrative efficiency and provide certification to consumers, as well as improve the ministry governance efficiency. This is use of file classification based on function in the public sector that has been announced through Service Circular number 5 of 2017 Office Management Guideline. File classification creates uniformity in the management of government records related to function, specific activities, and sub-activities for an organization. It reflects the core service of an organization that provide a systematic records management framework. It will enhance the delivery of government services. The school file classification manual guides file management for all schools staff to provide better, efficient, and quality service. This procedure is intended to explain to school on the step of using classification templates based on function and activities. So how the use of manual classification is being provided by MOE or Ministry of Education, Malaysia Online. That can be easily accessed by viewer. There are 6 points that point on how to use the manual. It contains their objective, definition, explanation, classification in hierarchy, usage procedures, responsibility of head department and inquiry. So as for their objective, it stated that its template was provided to give explanation to the organization, especially school, to follow the step using the template for classification the file based on function and activities. As for the definition, classification is the process of identifying the categories or categories of service activity and recorded, generated, and collected where applicable into files to facilitate the description, controlling, and setting of disposal status and access. Thank you.
Section by itself does not generate the record. Based on the scroll from file classification of SMK Elopura Sandakan Sabah, they applied the administrative files and operational files to play a role as a record that may help this academic institution to be used in any purpose. A file can be categorized in housekeeping files that contain the records related to general administrative activities that commonly apply to all the organizations. Housekeeping files consist letter and attachment document that related to administration, building and property, equipment and supplies, financial and personnel. This following categorized file is vital because it is ensured to support the workflow of a business office or any organization. In this figure shows that the category of files in pentadbiran arm and its number of classification in pentadbiran, berguna harta, peralatan dan bekalan, kewangan, and lastly personnel. This figure shows the functions of pentadbiran arm and its activities. This figure shows the functions of berguna harta and its activities. This figure shows the functions of kelengkapan dan bekalan and its activities. This is the functions of kewangan and its activity. And lastly, this figure shows the function of personnel and its activities. This is some example of file classification system that applied by SMK Elopura Sandakan. Functional or operational files are referred to a file that contain all of the records created for the aim to core functioning of an organization. This core function could assure any organization to operate effectively and efficiently following the goal, vision and mission of the organization. In SMK Elopura Sandakan, the institution itself purpose to function properly, so the longevity of its management, so that the institution could last long, especially for future generation as an educational facilities. This figure shows the category of files in functional and its number of classification that consists curriculum, hal ehwal murid, core curriculum, bimbingan dan counseling, and lastly ICT. This is the functions of Nusa curriculum and its activities. This is the functions of hal ehwal murid and its activities. This is the functions of core curriculum and its activities. This is some example of file classification system that apply in SMK Elopura Sandakan on functional or operational files. This is the this is an example of fast hierarchical method applied by SMK Elopura Sandakan for control and manage the school institution. It consists of 3 functions of administrative file and functional or operational file that been created. This is some example of housekeeping and administrative file. This is the example of functional and operational file. The figure shows the description of housekeeping or administrative files that exist in the filing system of SMK Elopura Sandakan. Each included with its activity, sub-activity, and transaction under the function of the housekeeping or administrative files in their filing system. This is for pentadbiran. This is a figure shows of the function on bangunan dahaga. This is a figure shows on function in kewangan. This figure shows an description of functional or operational files that exist in the filing system of SMK Elopura Sandakan. It is also included with its activity, sub-activity, and transaction under the function of the functional or operational files in the filing system. This figure shows of the function in pengurusan kurikulum. This figure shows the function on hal ehwal murid. And lastly, this is function of curriculum and its description. To sum up, classification and filing system is necessary in organizations. This is because it is not just only to make the file more organized, it is also to protect the documents at all costs. It is also preventing the file from misplaced as it leads to the missing file. Mishandling of file should not occur in first place, as there are procedures that could be as a guideline. Proper classification and filing system help the staff to do their work effectively and also make the organization more efficient. Classification and filing system in a school is important. School is an organization that produces many records in time as long as the school is still in operation. SMK Elopura Sandakan is an organization under government, Ministry of Education, with cooperation of National Archives Malaysia have provided manual to classify and filing system. It is purpose for standardize all the schools in Malaysia.